song for Toy Story 5. We have now produced it and I'm doing vocals. It's 6:57 p.m. In 2 hours, Bob Iger and Tom from Pixar are coming to hear it. We have not recorded it yet. And I think this is one of the most fun days of my life. In 2 hours, Bob Iger and Tom from Pixar are coming to hear it. We have not recorded it yet. And I think this is one of the most fun days of my life.
I was 5 when I first saw Toy Story, the first film, and I actually still have my VHS tape from 1995. I think it really speaks to if you've made resounding, meaningful art, if somebody has kept their VHS tape for 31 years. For me, all of the Toy Story films have just these incredible scores, theme songs. Randy Newman has so delicately woven together a signature sound for these films. And I think that's something that I'm just in awe of, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. But I knew it, I knew you. When it came to writing I Knew It, I Knew You, I just blathered out, we have to write this song, because for us to have an opportunity to write for this film as the first songwriters outside of Randy was really... I think the thing about Jessie's story in Toy Story 5, without spoiling anything about the film, is that we've seen her since the second film, and we've loved her since then. And we've seen her go through such heartbreak and such, triumphs and loss, and we've learned her backstory. But in Toy Story 5, we see such a character development and really lessons that I could relate to as she's grown up and as she's learned more about her experiences and her memories, and not just with Bonnie, but also with Emily. I think when people hear the song, I Knew It, I Knew You, at the end of Toy Story 5, I think that it would be really awesome if they thought of somebody that they had amazing memories with that they haven't seen in a long time, or someone that they miss, knowing that that person could come back into their life, or just the feeling that sometimes people's paths diverge, and that doesn't mean that that's the last time that you get to feel those memories or know that person. And sometimes when you look back on your childhood, those memories, that's special in itself. It means so much to me to actually be a part of this film in some small way, just because it's such an incredible world of imagination and playfulness and mischief and humor and comedy and tragedy. It's raised so many kids just like me. I watched Toy Story when I was 5, and I've watched every single one of the films so many times. So I really think that to be able to be welcomed into something that has welcomed me unknowingly its entire existence, just as a fan, feels very poignant for me and for my family.
To make features.
I do now.
And would the plan be to write a script or get a script from somewhere else? Or?
I would want to write it. It's so much easier for me to visualize how I would want to shoot something and how I would want to tell a story if I know exactly where it came from. And I know exactly why each line exists. And
me too, actually.
Yeah, I'm preaching to the converted. That comes through in what you make, I think. It's just such a sincere reason for everything existing the way it does. And I think there's a subtlety also. I loved how Banshees was shot.
Thank you.
It was gorgeous. It was expansive. You feel like you're getting a cinematic escape. It's really about the acting. It's really about the story. It's about the weight of it all. And it's not, I love a trick shot. It's fun, when you put a camera in a ceiling fan or whatever. But this is a different story that's told, I think, in a very pure way. And I thought the restraint that you showed was actually one of the most beautiful parts of it.
Thank you. I finally found some restraint. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I mean,
it is a quiet film, I think. It's a quiet... That's why I've been kind of surprised that it's going over so well. But I thought, it's a quiet, sad one. It's not the Marvel DC universe, I guess. Quiet, contemplative...
It is not. It is not the same kind of film. But I think, yes, it's a sad film in one way. But there's a lot of, beautiful humanity in it.
I hope so, yeah.
That's very warm.
And a beautiful donkey.
Such a beautiful donkey. There's an incredible donkey in this film.
I love casting
Little Jenny or something?
Jenny, yeah. Jenny in real life and Jenny in the story. Dreamboat, little Jenny.
Jenny, just play yourself. Just keep doing what you're doing, Jenny.
She was a little diva, actually.
Really?
She is quite, of all the cast.
I've heard that about asses. There were a lot of animals in this.
Yeah.
There are horses. There are donkeys. There's dog. There's an amazing dog.
Yeah.
So directing animals, is that something that you had a lot of experience with before, or?
Not really. I've had rabbits, as you mentioned, in Six Shooter.
That's a harrowing rabbit cameo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was some rabbits in Seven Psychopaths, I think. Mm-hmm. They survived. But I love having them around on set. And Colin Farrell says, he quotes the old adage of you shouldn't work with children and animals, but he loves it and I love it too, because they're just like innocent little, like everyone on the crew just loves being around them, especially Jenny, like little Dreamboat.
Yeah.
Like I watch the film now, I'm just looking at the animals. I don't care what Colin and Brendan are doing.
The devastating scene where I'm not going to give any spoilers, but when Colin comes home to find something devastating has happened, there's a horse. Doesn't the horse reacts, sort of?
Yeah.
The horse kind of is like, look over there.
Yeah.
There's something over there you should see.
Totally. Yeah. And then goes and sniffs, and it's as if the horse knows the story. I feel like.
Yeah.
And that horse, weirdly, because the horse was so good in some of the early scenes, I kept adding more and more for the horse to do. The morning of that shoot of that moment, we didn't have the horse in it, but I thought it would be so wonderful to have those innocent eyes on that moment too. And I think that the horse makes that.
I think
shot,
so too.
Really.
That scene, I think, is one of the most powerful scenes. Colin Farrell is just incredible in this, and it's the moment where everyone in the theater was kind of audibly weeping near me.
Yeah, I always hoped that would happen. He is so brilliant in that moment, so raw and broken, I guess. And sad, which reminds me of Sadie's moment in your video.
Yes.
And just for me, for Colin, there was no direction to be given that morning, because I knew he would find the place, and my job was to get out of the way. Maybe have him do it an extra time or two, but try and just leave it up to him. Is that how you work with Sadie on?
With Sadie, she is so incredible and so good that it was a very similar thing where I had a few conversations with her about how she likes to work in those kind of intense, emotive scenes. And I think she does a lot of prep work on her own, but she also had this song that she says always makes her cry, which is Savior Complex by Phoebe Bridgers.
Brilliant song.
Which your partner actually directed the video for.
Yeah, Phoebe did. The two Phoebes.
So there's another tie. But we ended up, playing that song on set, giving Sadie the room for a while. There was also we wanted her to look like she'd been crying, and the kind of body heave of that, there was screaming into pillows and stuff. And some of that we did together and some of that was just her on her own. But we wanted to give her a lot of space in the room. So
you and her would clear the room, scream into pillows together. Really?
And then she would do that on her own and do body work to make herself. You'll notice that her skin, you can see just the redness of, it's someone who's been crying for a while. It's that just excruciating, heaving, sobbing pain. She's an incredible actress. She has been doing this since she was a little kid. So I think she has her processes, but it was, there was a music element to it, which I think is just like a beautiful thing when music can touch someone in that way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Colin, I know, has earphones in. There was another scene on the cart where he's sort of tearful. I never know what they're playing though, and I never want to pry if it's like voices or songs or what the hell that is.
Is it until you say action, or is there?
Yeah, and then it's leave him to call action for those moments.
Oh, that's amazing.
He'll take them out, have another thought or two, and then just say yes to first AD, and I think that's a nice way to allow them to have. That's
beautiful.
Has being an actress in movies changed how you direct?
Every aspect of my job as a singer, I've occasionally been in a film for very short periods of time, has affected the way that I would, that I am as a director. I think I really want someone to feel comfortable. If they want to be able to look at the monitor or they want to be able to know how it's set up and how it looks, then they should be able to. If they don't want to see it, they shouldn't have to. I think it's helpful when people know what story it is they're telling. I've been a part of things where you didn't know the script and no one knew what the story was and you just know your little part of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I think it's important to let someone in on this is why you're doing this and this is how it fits into a bigger story and this is, yes, this is your puzzle piece, but this is what the puzzle looks like.
Yeah.
I imagine you're very honest and frank about that, but it's not always the case. I like to be secretive about projects I'm making, whether it's a music video or the short, we were so top secret about it, but the people who you have to trust the people that you're making something with to let them know this is exactly why this matters.
Yeah, and they're part of the whole team.
Yeah, I don't think I would have that experience if I hadn't been on everything from, you learn that from like commercial shoots or a film or a music video that I early on wasn't directing or hadn't written or whatever. So
yeah.
I don't know, it's just you have to cast people you trust and then trust them. I think.
Exactly. It's all directors should do that, and not all of them do. One of my favorite actresses is Laura Dern, and I hear you might be working with her or have just worked with her.
Yeah, so I worked with her on a Cinderella story because the album's called Midnights, and I wanted to play into the main fairy tale that deals with the hour of midnight when the clock strikes 12. I wanted there to be a scene in the beginning where it's the Haim girls playing the stepsisters and Laura Dern playing my stepmother, and working with her was absolutely incredible. She's one of these people who is just as wonderful off screen as she is on, and I'd heard that about her. If you love someone's work, but you hear they're really like either like sadistic or bad to people or just like or hate doing it. Some people like hate acting.
Yeah.
Even though they're really good at it.
Yeah.
So I'm not like I don't need it.
Yeah, same here.
So I've heard that Laura Dern is like, loves it, is passionate about it, is doing it for the right reasons, lovely person, and is also brilliant. So I wanted to work with her. I reached out to her and she came to set and it was just like the most wonderful time. And I feel like I want to know her forever.
Wow.
I simply adore a proposal. The single most defining thing a lady could hope to achieve in her lifetime.
Is it hard directing yourself in things?
No, because I only direct myself in music videos where I know exactly what shots I want to get. For a music video, I literally shot list every single shot.
Wow.
Because it's so much easier. I edit on set when I do music videos too. I didn't edit on set when I did the short film. But for a music video, when you have it shot listed, you can just knock it out. You only have like 2 days to get it done.
Right.
So I'd rather just hit that, slot it in for a video.
So it's like not even 2 or 3 takes. It's like, or is it?
If we get it for a music video, if we get it done in 1 take, I move on.
Wow.
But that's not how I approach the short film, and that would not be how I would approach doing a feature film. Every time I sit down with someone like you who's making work that I adore, that I respect, it's educational for me to learn how people work and how they make things that I think I think this is one of the best films I've ever seen.
Before we start, this is a fictional, imagined story, not a real account of what happened. None of these words were actually spoken by Taylor or Travis. Now, let's dive into the story. Picture this. A quiet stretch of coastline in Rhode Island, where the waves move slower, like even the ocean knows something sacred is about to happen. String lights wrapped around old oak trees. The smell of salt water mixing with white roses. And somewhere inside that house, behind closed doors, a woman who has given the world 1,000 songs about love is about to live the one moment no lyric could ever fully capture. In this story, Taylor is sitting in front of a mirror, her hands trembling slightly as her mother fixes the last strand of her hair. And she's not nervous because she's scared. She's nervous because for the first time in years, there's nothing left to perform. No stage, no crowd, No camera waiting for the perfect angle. Just her and the boy from Kansas who somehow became the safest place she's ever known. Outside, in this imagined evening, Travis is standing near the water, hands in his pockets, rocking slightly on his heels the way nervous men do when they're trying to look calm. His brother leans over and whispers something that makes him laugh, but his eyes never leave the path she'll walk down. And then it happens. The doors open. The music starts. And in this story, that's the exact moment something inside Taylor breaks open. Not from sadness, but from a kind of overwhelming, almost unbearable joy. Because here's a woman who has written about heartbreak so many times that the world assumed she'd never fully believe in this kind of ending. And yet here she is, walking toward a man who looks at her like she's the only person left on earth. In this imagined version of the night, it's not the vows that break her. It's a tiny moment beforehand, something almost too small for anyone else to notice. As she takes her father's arm, he leans in and whispers, "Your mom and I knew, the very first time we saw him look at you, that we didn't have to worry anymore." And right there, before she's even taken her first step down the aisle, the tears come. Not gently, not for the cameras, just raw, uncontrollable emotion, the kind that comes from finally feeling completely, undeniably safe. She laughs through the tears, the way people do when they're too happy to be embarrassed. Her bridesmaids reach for her hands. Someone hands her a tissue. And somehow, in this story, that imperfect, mascara-smudged moment becomes the most beautiful part of the entire night. More beautiful than the dress, more beautiful than the flowers, more beautiful than anything money could buy. When she finally reaches him, in this imagined telling, Travis doesn't say anything right away. He just exhales like he'd been holding his breath the entire time she was walking toward him. And then, so quietly that only she can hear it, he says something simple. Something like, "I got you. For real this time." And that's when she truly loses it. Not because the words are poetic, because they're true. Throughout this fictional ceremony, there are small, human details, the kind that feel more real than anything scripted. Travis fumbling slightly with the ring, laughing at himself, the crowd laughing with him. Taylor wiping her eyes with the back of her hand instead of a tissue because she's too overwhelmed to think straight. Her best friends in the front row crying just as hard as she is because they've watched this story unfold in real life for years. The awkward beginnings, the public scrutiny, the quiet moments backstage nobody saw. And maybe the most emotional imagined moment of all comes during the speeches. In this story, Travis stands up, visibly nervous, holding a small piece of paper he clearly didn't need because he already knew every word by heart. He talks about meeting her, about how he almost didn't get the courage to reach out, about how terrified he was of messing up something that felt too good to be real. And then he says the line that, in this fictional version, breaks the entire room. "I spent my whole career chasing moments. She's the first one I never want to end." Taylor, in this dramatized telling, doesn't even try to hide her crying anymore. She just lets it happen, surrounded by family, surrounded by the people who've watched her give pieces of her heart to the world through music for nearly 2 decades. And finally, gets to keep one piece just for herself. As the night winds down in this imagined story, the two of them slip away from the crowd for a few minutes, just to stand near the water alone. No speeches, no music, just two people who found each other in the middle of chaotic, very public lives, and somehow built something quiet and real underneath all of it. That's the story, a fictional, heartfelt imagining of what a moment like this could feel like, built from emotion, not fact. If this kind of dramatized storytelling is something you want more of, you know what to do. Hit subscribe because there are so many more imagined moments like this one waiting to be told.